3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Goose chasing in 2024.
Happy New Year, TAGNBRAG Nation.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2024 and a new year. New year, new goose chasing, same us.
Same old us, 2024. It's insane.
And still got a lot of 2023 tags that are literally lighting my leg on fire right now because they're burning a hole in my pocket.
Wasted some paper.
Holy shit. Donated to the cause this year, you would say.
Donated back to conservation, that's for sure.
And God bless. Hopefully, they do something good with it.
I doubt they will.
Put in a new bridge or something for Christ's sake. Oh, but yeah, we are in a new year. It's kind of crazy. Last year flew by. I don't even know. I mean, it did. It flew. Like, it still feels like we're preparing to go to North Dakota for some reason.
I know, it's insane.
Like, the season hasn't even started yet, and in the blink of an eye, the season's done. 2023 is done, and here we are. Sending ship to shore calls in 2024.
We say it every year how fast it goes, but it's insane when you get to October 1st. Even in North Dakota, you're like, oh, it's like we're gonna get home. Seasons aren't even starting for 3 weeks, and you're like, I got all the time in the world to hunt and be patient and all this and that. And then all of a sudden you blink your eye and it's New Year's and you're like, shit, I didn't
Damn it.
shoot anything yet.
And it's such a tough time of year to hunt right now. I mean, it can be very opportunistic if you have the right food and if the deer are close enough to get to that food in daylight. But it is such a tough time of the year to hunt. I mean, like a lot of states are probably closing out. I know Tennessee closes out on Sunday. Um, Ohio lasts a little bit longer. New York's done. Kansas, I don't even know when Kansas goes till, but North Dakota closes, I believe, on Sunday too. And yeah, it's just this is a tough time of year to hunt. The deer are pressured. The humans are worn down.
Well, especially when you don't have weather. Like,
Yeah, the weather. I mean, yeah, the what that's really the biggest thing. The weather has to cooperate this time of year in order for it to really be opportunistic. And
yeah, you got to have cold. You don't got to, but I mean, yeah, the cold weather and preferably snow, in my opinion. But I know there's spots in the Midwest that just don't get a lot of snow. But you need the cold. You need cold temps, and we just
haven't had them.
nope, not at all.
I mean, even you guys have had like a snow or two up north, but that's been it. Actually, this right now down here in Tennessee is probably the coldest that it's been all fall slash winter, like all deer season. It's getting down into the 20s at night, into the 40s during the day, but like when that sun starts to go down, I mean, you can notice it.
It's cold.
It's cold, yeah. Now it's cold, but beyond that, I mean, there hasn't really been too much of a cold snap to really get like where it's a no brainer day to hunt. You know, with this late season, there has not been. Maybe actually there was 2 days up in New York, the last 2 days of the bow muzzleloader season prior to the holiday hunt. Those 2 days when we were up at camp, that Monday, Tuesday, when it snowed, and then the next day there was snow on the ground, but it stopped snowing. Those were probably the 2 days that were like it, at
Yeah,
least that I remember.
yeah, and even in Ohio, when we've had some of the snow that we've had, it's not like it's. I mean, obviously it's snowing, so it's cold, but it's like 30 degrees. It's not.
Right.
You're not getting like teen.
Single digits.
No,
When
cold
the deer
wind
get
chill.
nervous and
Yeah, they gotta
they
get
gotta
up
find
and
food.
move and eat, and it's not been like that. I think this Thursday is, our low is like 19, which is probably the
All right.
coldest I've seen, but then it kind of jumps right back up. It's just been, yeah, it's been a mild winter. What is it? El Nino, El Nino and El Nina.
Is it
I don't know what it is, but
one of the
even
Ninas?
I was looking at the Weather Channel was predicting, the January forecast, and there's the two jet streams that run across the United States, and that northern jet stream just it never really dips below us, which is what you need to get
To get the cold.
the old Alberta Clipper. But that's what
The old
brings
Albie Clipper.
those like northwest, the lake effect snows and the
Yeah,
cold snaps, and we just that doesn't mean that we won't get them. That's just they're predicting that we won't necessarily in January. I don't know. It's just been it's been one of those years. Usually by now, especially in New York, but definitely in Ohio, you get a couple foot and a half snowfalls and those mid-teens, just cold blasts. At
yeah,
least a couple of them, and then the temps fluctuate. But those are the opportunities in the past. In December, we've killed good bucks when it was 15 degrees, and we
you're
just
right.
didn't get that this year.
Son of a bitch.
That's what you need, that's what you hope for late season when you don't tag in October, November. You're like, all right, late season cold, we're going to get it done. But then late season's warm.
Even when you do tag in October and November, normally you still have a tag, or at least for
Yeah,
us
there's
now, thankfully, we
multiple states.
we do. But when you didn't tag in September, and then you didn't tag in October, and then you didn't tag in November, and didn't tag in December, now it's January, and you're like scratching your ass, going,
Scratching it up. I was just watching a video. I don't know if it was on TikTok or what. This guy was panning across his field in, I think he was in Alberta. You're somewhere in Canada, and there were like thousands of Canadian geese and no snow. And he's like, "This is the weirdest thing." He's
I've
like,
ever
you should
in
never
Canada.
see." Yeah, he's like, "You should never see this right now, ever." He's
That's
like,
weird.
"These birds are all gone." He's like, "They're literally not migrating because they're confused."
That's weird.
Yeah, it was eye-opening to me. It just because sometimes it feels like wherever you're at, it's like only happening there, but obviously the weather is
Playing a
it's
factor.
yeah, everywhere.
Oh, for sure it is.
So, and that doesn't
Well,
mean we're not going to get it. Like the end of January. January might be
yeah,
freezing cold. Our February might be brutal. I don't know, but it just up until this point, it's just been different.
yeah, way different. But the old Brownies, baby, they're going to the playoffs.
Look
Joe
at
Flack City, baby.
look at the Browns. I mean, when we got all these injuries, well, it's been happening all season, but
Literally, the second game of the season, we lose Nick Chubb. I thought the season was over.
yeah, and
Over.
I don't remember if it was game 1 or game 2. We lost like Jack Conklin, one of one of
That was
our offensive line was insane to begin with. That was game 1.
game one, if not preseason, dude.
Okay, it might have been.
I don't know if he started the season.
Yeah, no, that might have been preseason. But it just started off that early with injury
Injury.
after injury after injury. And then as soon as Watson went down, even though he wasn't necessarily performing the best, everyone was like, okay, we're done. Like,
Well, yeah, but when the game before he went down, we were getting our asses handed to us by the Ravens in the first half. He comes out in the second half, 14 for 14, like a couple hundred yards passing, and won us the game.
yeah. So we were like,
And
he's
you're
back.
like, holy shit, this is the Sean that we invested in, think. And then literally he played the whole game, and then later in that week, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's done for the year with a shoulder injury." It's like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell? What else? What else? So 4 quarterbacks later, we're 11-5. We wrote the ticket to the playoffs. We've got the best team in the AFC in our division. That's the only reason that's holding us back from winning the division right now. And Joe Flacco, 38 years old, is slinging it like a young Tom Brady in his prime. That dude throws a freaking spiral unlike anybody that I've ever seen. And he throws it with finesse. You see all these guys now, and they want to just throw that football through a brick fucking wall. No, not Flacco, baby. He floats it out there like a butterfly. You got an Njoku. He can't catch shit. He's catching one-handers now from
Yeah,
Flacco.
it's all
Because
about the
Flacco's
touch.
just fluttering that thing out there like a little butterfly. Whoop!
That's such an underrated quality of a quarterback is touch.
Finesse.
Yeah,
Finesse.
because it's you in today's day, the like NFL combine and all that BS is it's so freaking
Throw it
uh
hard. Throw it hard.
well, it just it's so pumped up. Like you got to have
The intangibles.
you got to have big hands and you got to fire the ball and you got to have a
Be
rocket
fast.
arm. Yeah,
Be
you got to run a
fast.
4.2 40 and all this crap, and at the end of the day, it's like, can you ball?
You got to have a fucking brain. That's what you got to have.
Can
You
you
got to
ball?
have you got to have the gamesmanship. Like, dude, our like you said, our offensive line is banged up. This dude is just taking shots to the shoulder, to the face. Almost got his face mask ripped off last game. Spun out of it, delivered one to Jerome Ford. He runs at 50 yards for a tutty after getting hit from all angles, dude. I mean, you can't, like, these guys can't miss right now. It's insane. It's insane. And for all y'all who are out there, sitting there laughing at us right now. Well, listen, this doesn't happen in Cleveland football. This doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in a long time. So you know what? We're gonna sit back and we're gonna enjoy this shit. Last night, I'm looking at Super Bowl tickets. I want to go to Vegas. I want to go to Vegas. You know what? Because I believe. I believe in this shit. And that's not going to happen because the
If you
Super Bowl is for rich people, apparently.
Yeah, if
Only.
you want to go, you got to refinance your house,
Dude,
take out your equity, and then
I'm looking at tickets in the rafters last night. The rafters. Like cheapest. I'm trying to find the cheapest ticket that I could. The cheapest ticket that I could find. They don't even know who's in the Super Bowl right now, by the way. Playoffs haven't even started yet. $6,600.
for one
$6,600
one ticket.
for one ticket.
I just don't I don't know. I don't understand it.
You know what's bullshit to me is that eliminates the people that are supporting
The
the
team.
NFL for an entire season.
Yeah.
That eliminates them. There's not many people in Cleveland that are like, "Oh, I can just blow 6,600 to sit in the top freaking rafter seats
Yeah,
for
and it's not
for
even that because they're gonna take they're gonna go with a friend or they're gonna take their wife
you
or
gotta
whatever,
stay.
their
You're
family.
in Vegas. You gotta stay there. You gotta eat.
You're gonna
I
spend
mean, you gotta
fifty
do
thousand
all.
dollars.
Yeah, dude, that's bullshit, man. That is bullshit. The NFL needs to check themselves, in my opinion. Because
It's almost like they should reserve a. It doesn't have to be
100%.
80%, or they just need to reserve a a chunk of tickets for season ticket holders
Or
of
of that team,
of those
of the
teams,
team. Oh, for
like
sure.
the opportunity for those, and I don't even
Dude,
know, maybe those season ticket holders are they just end up reselling them, and that's how the price gets jacked up so much. But I don't know if it's because, is it like halftime shows? Is it, I don't know what it is, but
I mean, it's because they can. That's it. It's because they can. But out of the American sport, or what we say is the American sport, you're taking that experience away from the American people.
Yeah.
The working man people that support these teams week in and week out for 18 weeks of the season now, you're eliminating those people. It's celebrities and the rich man that gets to go to this thing. No, they're not real fans.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
You want if the
obviously,
Browns go to the Super Bowl, you want the dog pound there. That's all.
yeah, like obviously there's fans of the team there, but it's not the same as the
not the diehards.
hometown crowd. So it's gotta. I'm sure obviously a bunch of players have talked about this. I wonder how it feels
When you're there,
in comparison to like a home game, because obviously, like, can you feel that the fans aren't obviously again? There's fans there of the teams because there
yeah,
are people that are diehards that are like, I'm going. I wanted to see a
yeah.
Super Bowl before I die. I'm going.
I mean, and rightfully so.
But yeah,
Rightfully so.
I wonder how different it feels in terms of, because you're not getting like quarterbacks in the headset. Like, I can't hear shit because the teams are freaking screaming or
Right,
the
when they're
fans are
deep.
screaming. Like, that's not going on as much.
Right.
I don't
Yeah. Our
think.
our defense is on the field, so we're gonna make as much noise as possible to disrupt the other team. There's no way. There's like watching the Rose Bowl this weekend or some the bowl games this weekend, half the stadium, Alabama, Michigan, half the stadium's yellow, half the stadium's friggin' red.
Yeah.
It literally was half and half. So those are all fans. Those are all legit
Well,
diehard fans.
and the NCAA, they do that. They save like a portion of tickets is for students, and I don't
And
know what they do. At least it was when we were in college. I'm sure it's still,
as it should be.
or
That's
alumni, whatever they do. But
how you gonna take that away from the people that have been riding with this team for the whole season? How you gonna take that away?
yeah,
I mean, dude, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm going on to look at tickets. I'm like, man, $800, $900. Like I would think about that. I would think about,
well,
buying
if it's
them
a once in
right
a
now.
lifetime as a fan,
Yeah.
you don't know what that could
6,600.
happen
I can't. I mean, are you out of your freaking mind? $6,600?
for one evening.
Man,
I
that's
mean, what if
insane.
it's? I mean, yeah, and this has happened before. What if it's a blowout game? And
Yeah,
it's just like, wow, I just
you're
spent
piecing at
12
halftime.
grand for two of us to go here,
Yeah.
and we sat in the rafters.
We sat in the rafters. We watched Usher at halftime, and then we left because the
And
game was
I
ass.
needed I needed binoculars to see Usher, and I was swinging from the speakers up here in the friggin' ceiling.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But
But
In Cleveland right now, I mean, the energy is electric. It's electric. I was at the game on Thursday when we beat the Jets to secure the playoff victory or to secure the playoff appearance. And that felt like it could have been Super Bowl-esque. Like they completely blacked out the stadium and everybody had they like you scanned this thing on your seat and you went onto the dog pound app or dog tag app, whatever they called it, and you like click this button and it turned the light on your phone, but it was blinking like quick blink. 70,000 people did that as the Browns are coming out of the tunnel.
yeah, that's insane.
Dude, it was insane. It was insane. The stadium was shaking. All the while then right before the game starts, they always have somebody because our stadium is right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They always have somebody come out and smash a guitar to get everybody jacked up to get the game started. Freaking Nick Chubb steps out, walking on his two legs, walks out, walks up the stairs, grabs the guitar. They give him like like the old like science class goggles to wear, because they're
Yeah.
shattering a guitar. You don't want to get freaking
Yeah.
wood chips in your eyes. Dude, he takes out his goggles and he like looks at them, he chucks them, and then he goes into his back pocket, gets a Batman mask because
Oh, yeah.
he's the fucking Batman. He puts the mask on and then he smashes the guitar. Dude, the whole stadium, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. The whole stadium was electric. It was insane. It literally it felt like the friggin' Super Bowl. And then Flacco comes out, 4 or 5 play drive, tutty, first drive. Fucking might as well have lit the place on fire.
Yeah, that's
Insane.
good. That's good shit.
It is good shit. Good
When
shit.
your city is just rocking like that,
Popping
obviously there's cities that, they might get to benefit from that more than others. But
or experience it more than others, I guess.
yeah, and we're just one, at least in our generation with the Browns, we haven't gotten a lot of. We got to experience it in 2020 a little bit, but it was just a different feel. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because I don't know if it's because Flacco came in here and it's just like this. The story feels different because we were writing ourselves off with all these injuries,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it just feels different, and we got a lot of work in
Well, and
front of us. We got to
also,
win a playoff game still. We got to, yeah. It's not
yeah,
like
we're also
any games are won yet already. So
we're winning in different fashion than we did. And that was also COVID, if I remember
yeah,
correctly, because
it was.
Stefanski had COVID for the first playoff game that Baker won against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And yeah, it just I don't know. Like that year, you felt like we had a good team, but you were like you're still kind of guessing a little bit with the way that our defense is playing. There's no guessing. Not this year. And then you got Flack City just slinging that bean all over the place like he never left. Fucking
Great.
love it. I love it.
It's funny because even when the difference in this team, I think, is like he takes a lot of risks. I love it. It's like he's like Brett Favre. Like
Oh
he'll
yeah.
just toss it down there, and he will throw interceptions. But you look like you as a fan, you're not like you're like shit when he throws an interception, but you're not like wow, same
You,
old Browns. Like
you
you're not
dumbass.
really yeah,
Yeah.
you're just not really worried about it that much because you're like okay, our defense will stop them. I don't
And
know.
then as soon as we get the ball back, he's just gonna fling another one.
Yeah, you're like just keep giving him the ball and let him do his thing.
Because then the next play, the next drive, he comes out and slings like a 50-yarder to Amari Cooper tutty. Oh,
Yeah,
forgot about that interception now because we're just throwing tutties again. No big
yeah,
deal.
and it's crazy. Go back to last game we lose our number 2 receiver. So I don't even know what we're gonna do about that because we don't have one at the moment. We don't have was it Goodwin? We really
Yeah,
have Bell and Tillman,
yeah, as our
and they're
third option.
young dudes. They can
I mean,
it's just wild.
you got to ride with Amari. You got to ride with Njoku. You gotta get the ball to Kareem and let him wreak havoc in space. They like the crazy part is you would normally be nervous about that, about losing
Oh
another
yeah,
guy, but
you'd
at
be like
this
we're
point, it's
done.
just like
Well,
it's
next man
another
up.
guy. Yeah, it's another guy.
It's been going on all season.
Yeah, we've been figuring this shit out all season, so it's exciting.
That makes you all very dangerous people.
That makes you all very, very dangerous
And the
people.
crazy thing is, obviously, again, we have to win a game. Like we're gonna be, I don't know who we're gonna either play Jacksonville or maybe Indianapolis, which is I think we're better than both any of those teams that we're gonna play. Still got to win it. It's
Yeah.
playoff football away game. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah, it's going to
it's
be
gonna
away.
be
It's going to be on the
gonna be a
road.
it's going to be a battle. It's going to be tough. But if we can get through that game, then we go to Baltimore.
Holy
Bring
shit!
bring on that's going to be like the Super Bowl, because I think Baltimore, at least right now, they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
So
but dude, think about it. They're not going to play anyone this week.
I
They're
know it's
gonna
going to be like a 3-week bye for
they're
them.
gonna they're gonna have a bye the first week of the playoffs. No, it is. I mean, it's going to be 3 full weeks, and I mean that can recharge you for sure. But also, when you're rolling like that, any sport doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever,
Tough to
soccer.
tough to cut
Like,
the momentum off.
yeah, when you got momentum and you got the continuity with the whole squad clicking on all cylinders, like part of it, you kind of just want to keep playing
Yeah,
because
I agree.
you keep the snowball getting bigger and you just keep rolling.
Yep.
So I don't know. I would not. I'm already like, I know we're gonna rest our guys this week, and that's fine. That's all. That's good. I think recoup. But I'm already like, I just want these guys to keep playing.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a little bit of a longer time too because we played Thursday this past
Yeah.
week. We're going to play Sunday, but nobody's playing. None of our starters are playing. And then obviously we're going to have to wait until the following Saturday or Sunday to get back on the field. So we've got a pretty solid break and time off too with our main guys. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Playoff football in Cleveland, baby. God bless.
Let's go.
God bless. Well, we also got a Christmas giveaway going on all of our social media, and it's been pretty insane. We kind of extended it through the new year because there was so many comments coming in, there was so many nominations coming in for people. So if you guys haven't keened in on or been on social media in the last couple weeks, we are doing a giveaway. A couple years ago, Dirtnap Gear and Dirtnap Broadheads gave us an opportunity to co-brand our own Signature Series broadhead with them. So we created a orange and black TAGNBRAG Signature Series broadhead through Dirtnap, and we've been selling it for the last couple years. Obviously, we're selling it. They get the way that our like whole deal was is we just get, a cut of the profits from the sales of the broadhead. Well, with all of the proceeds from the sales of that broadhead for 2023, we are going to be buying 3 new bows for 3 lucky winners. And Dean and I, one of the main responsibilities that we feel, or a very strong responsibility that we feel being blessed enough with the opportunity to be in the hunting industry is to give back, to the people that are watching us, that have made our dreams come true, give back to the people that are less fortunate. And our whole goal and motive with Tag and Brag to begin with is to enhance the sport, is to get more people involved, is to show people the value that hunting and the outdoors has brought us and our family and the tradition around it, and try and get more people involved to try and bring those values to those people, because I honestly don't know where I'd be in my life without hunting and the outdoors and just what it's taught me, what we've learned, the bond that it's brought Dean and I in general, along with, our dad, Uncle Jay, and the list goes on as far as everybody that we've gotten to hunt with and enjoy the outdoors with in our entire life. So I don't know. It's not a huge gesture, but for us, like 3 new bows into the world, hopefully they're going to go into the hands of 3 people that really need them and deserve them. That's kind of what we asked for in all this. But basically what we did was we put out a social media post. We asked our viewers and our following to nominate somebody that they thought or knew, needed a new bow, needed some new archery equipment, whether it was somebody new that they wanted to get into the sport, somebody that's been in a bad way, or, maybe had some misfortunes happen over the past year or two, Maybe they're in, a little bit of a financial bind, or maybe their life just they can't they can't afford, that extra hunting equipment or the new hunting equipment to be able to go out and enjoy this sport that we all love. So, um, I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit self-loathing, I guess, because it makes me feel good. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um, I know it makes the both of us feel good to be able to give back and stuff like that. And the comments that are pouring in are insane. I
they're
mean,
insane. Yep.
we're gonna try and pick three deserving people. Honestly, I wish we had more bows to give out. Like,
Yeah, because it's gonna
because
be tough.
it
There's
is. I
just
mean,
so many you're like, "Damn, I wanna give this person a bow. I
yeah.
wanna give this person a bow. I wanna give this person a bow."
Like, here's one for example. This one kind of hit home with me. We've dealt with this in our family a little bit, and it's yeah, it just I'd like to nominate Brent Bolt. I bought him a crossbow when we first started dating 12 years ago, and I know he would extremely love the new bow. He loves hunting so much it puts him at peace and connects him with God when he is in the woods, and he would be super grateful if he won. That yeah, you know, that's insane. And we can go into that one a little bit more, but another one, I'm nominating my wife, Lori. She is shooting an old mission bow. She needs an upgrade. She's been a volunteer firefighter along with myself for 33 years. She always puts everyone ahead of herself. She would do anything for anybody without hesitation. She's a kind-hearted person. That's why I'm nominating her. Thank you and Merry Christmas from our house to yours. It's amazing, you know, I think what we wanted out of all of this the most was everybody, like, we're kind of giving everybody else the opportunity to give back. And the give back that you see is is insane. Like,
Well, just it's awesome that I don't know, it just feels good when other people, have the hearts to really take the time and, like, think about somebody else that they know, love, family, friend that they want to see receive something like this and get some enjoyment out of, because at the end of the day, to me, there's it's so easy for people to be quick to judge other people, and you look at, walking down the street, whatever, you look at certain people, you have no idea what someone's life story is, what they're going through. You can look at yourself all you want and be like, my life's unfair. This stuff's only happening to me. You can kind of come down on yourself, but you have no idea what hardships other people are going through. And it's cool for other people to bring those, to light, and then to have opportunities to give a little something to somebody that may boost them up or help them get through a hard
right,
time.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's awesome when you're able to see that, and it's like we could have done this giveaway where it's like this post, share this post, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff, and like we're gonna gain some followers as a byproduct of this, but ultimately, like, we're getting exactly what we wanted out of this. It's these other people giving back,
yep.
like, I mean, it's there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. I mean, I spent hours yesterday going through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Like, you read through some of these comments, they'll damn near bring you to tears.
Yeah,
These
they will.
some of these people that, like, you think you're having a bad day, you think you're having a bad week, or or maybe this whole year has been a tough year for you, and then you read some of these comments and you're just like, damn, like, some of these people, they've got every reason to just throw in the towel and be like, this sucks,
Yeah.
life. general, and they're still out there, and they're the ones that are nominating other people to give back to. I mean, that to me is it's incredible. It's incredible. There's nothing more that I would have wanted out of this little giveaway, and we kind of, not that we threw it together last minute, but we wanted, Dean and I were talking before the holiday, and it was like we want to do something to give back. What can we do to give back? And this was kind of what we drew up and how we felt like we could make a difference quickly, um, or relatively quickly, and kind of kick off this new year in doing that. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to you know pick the three winners. I'm excited to to get new bows in three new people's hands and see their reactions, and hopefully, you never know, like that, if it could be life changing, it could be season changing, it you hope, even if it's somebody that maybe doesn't hunt as much, but just gets out there and shoots their bow a little bit more and enjoys that, like that release, even just shooting your bow, for me at least, that release is huge. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm having a rough day, or if I'm having a rough week, or if I'm frustrated, like if I just go, that is one place for me that I can go. I can go to the range, I can pick my bow up, and as soon as I draw that bow, everything else shuts off. Nothing else matters. That's where I personally can go and shut it off. Like, shut off the BS, shut off the outside noise, like forget about what's frustrating or what the hardships right now, and just like, because in order to do it well, you have to be so locked in, you got
Yeah.
to be so locked into that moment and committed to that moment. um so if nothing else, you know hopefully that can help any one of these people throughout their hardships or whatever. So
Well, yeah, the cool thing is a bow, anything related to hunting, but a bow specifically, it's just a constant, um like you said, it's a give back that keeps giving, because you could give someone a few $100 or whatever to help them through something, but that could be gone in a day.
right.
Whereas like hunting is something you can always fall back on to help you release or just get some peace for a few hours or a day, whatever it is. Like it's always something you can do to help you with what you're going through on a daily basis. Like
Yeah.
you can always be like, all right, I'm gonna go sit and enjoy the woods and have some peace and serenity for a little bit to help me get through whatever I'm going through. And that's just a constant give back that hopefully some of these people will have, um, you know, getting a bow, because that's the cool thing. Like I said, you could give someone kind of almost anything else, and it could be realized or over and done with in a day. It
Right.
brings them up, but then it's done. Then it's done. But hunting is something that you can always go back to
Well,
help you through that. So it's cool.
yeah, and it's a tool to help provide. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're struggling to make ends meet, if you're, you know, if times are tough, whatever, like, you can get a hunting license in your state, and you can go out and you can try and provide some meals for your family
Yep.
on your own, and that's, to some degree, that sense of pride in being able to provide, that could propel just that sense of pride in being able to, you know, go out and harvest your own food or your own meal for your family. And now you're literally watching your family nourish their bodies with something that you didn't go to the grocery store and pick something off of a shelf. You went out and harvested this animal yourself. Like, to some degree, the feeling of that could be life changing in itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
it's
It is.
It
It
is.
is
It
it
is.
is a life-changing feeling, and then you go back to just, like, giving someone a bow, giving them like, that's a lifetime of opportunity a to create, like, memories with somebody else, or
For sure.
maybe them getting a bow now sparks new relationships of people that do bow hunt, and now they create lifelong friends, memories of, and activities that they can do for the rest of their life, and it changes their life, you know?
100%.
I mean, there's just so many ways that the sport of hunting benefits people or gives back, I guess. It's just like it's like a constant give back process, honestly.
Yeah, and it honestly, the bows and especially the bows nowadays, they're timeless. I mean,
Oh, they are, yeah.
some of these comments you're seeing guys or gals that are shooting bows that are 15, 20, 25 years old, you know, and they're nominating somebody that just needs some new archery equipment. I mean, that's bows that are 15, 20 years old from now. You know, like the bows right now, the technology that's in these bows, if you take care of them, you're going to be able to shoot
You
this
can shoot
thing
it for the
for
rest of your life.
however long you want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
or like you said, maybe you shoot it for a couple years and you've got a youngster coming up and then they can start shooting it when they get old enough and strong enough to shoot it so you can now pass that on. I
Yep.
mean, that's I don't know. That's powerful shit right there. And it's hunting that's, you know, that's done it all for us, but it's doing it all for other people as well. You just got to lean into it. You know, you got to lean into the good parts of it. There's a lot of reasons that this sport has gotten very competitive, so to speak. But at the core, and at least at our core, where we originated from, that was never the case. The harvest was celebrated by all of us, no matter what and no matter what it was. It could have been we could have been hanging a button buck, you
Yeah.
know, from the skin and pole. That was it was going to be celebrated like that. The harvest was celebrated because it's something that should be celebrated, no matter
Yeah, it
what.
was.
Well, I shouldn't say no matter what, like legally, you know, and ethically, whatever. That should be celebrated because number one, it's an amazing accomplishment. That's for sure, and more than likely, you know, you're doing it with family, friends, you know, people that you like to carry on this tradition with, and that energy is captivating. That energy is contagious. So, you know, when you hang that deer up in camp, it's a good feel. It's just a good feeling. You know,
Yeah.
it really doesn't
It's
matter what it
accept.
is. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. We got our work cut out for us because
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's gonna be very hard. I've already, like you said, going through and reading a bunch of these, I'm like, "Man, this is gonna suck," trying to figure out 3.
Yeah, I mean, like this one, for example. I nominate Emily. She is my daughter. She has a youth bow that doesn't reach the minimum draw weight to hunt. She has been practicing since last year to get above the minimum draw weight. She was able to do that, but she didn't have but we didn't have the money to get her a new bow. She graduated high school over a year ago, or no, over a year early, and this was her freshman year in college for nursing. She is so deserving and would be very humble as would I. Thank you for the opportunity and Merry Christmas. I mean, like that's I don't know. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of these comments are will damn near bring you to tears. But I mean, you got firefighters, you got nurses, you got police force on here, you got army veterans on here that are getting nominated. Like, you
People
know,
dealing with, uh, you know, sobriety,
exactly.
losing a loved one, divorce. What I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many scenarios I've already gone through and read. Just you don't know
Well,
what
yeah.
people are
I
going through.
mean, medical issues that don't allow you to be around like a gun or being able to handle that loud noise. So a bow is really the only way to get out into the woods. Yeah, I mean, this dude, I nominate my nephew Jake. He's currently serving in the Marine Corps, loves the outdoors, and he tells me how much he wants to begin hunting. He is a great young man, well deserving. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. My son, he was born almost dead, so he can't use any firearms due to damage hearing. He can only bow hunt. He's been using a crossbow. Yeah, I mean, it's just the list goes on and on. I mean, wives nominating their husbands, which I think is cool because there's a lot of people out there, and I saw a post on social media. I think it was this morning, was like talking about the what wife supporting what he did in the hunting, and just I don't know. We all have somebody or people that are behind us that either support what they do or they don't, and the seeing a couple wives like nominate their husbands on there. I mean, that hits home because both of us, we have the opportunity now to travel, be and hunt and do what we love, but that also comes with a sacrifice of leaving, family and loved ones behind for the time that you're going.
Yep.
But having a good partner that allows you to do that, and that not only allows you to do that, but like wants you to do that because they see what it does for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. So
Priceless.
shit, man. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin with this stuff, but we'll have our work cut out for us.
Very, very much so.
There is no doubt about that. Oh shit. I mean, talk a little bit about Kansas. We haven't really talked about that
We
since we've been
haven't.
back. One of the most magical whitetail places on earth, I feel like, and we've only really experienced it for like 5.5 days.
In December.
In the middle of December, and it proved to be all that it was cracked up to be and more.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things just about some of those Midwest states is, well, the terrain is I would say just favorable for deer hunting out there. It
Yep.
is, but there's places like we say this all the time. Ohio, like I think even New York, or at least Western New York, has some of the best habitat for deer are I think on the planet. It's just there's a hunter behind every other bush.
Yeah.
You drive down the
Per square
road.
mile.
Yeah, you drive down the road, truck pull off here, truck pull off there, truck pull off there. Your neighbor's hunting here, your neighbor's hunting, like everybody is hunting, and you could be in the woods and there's somebody 200 yards away from you
That's
hunting.
not, yeah.
If they're not hunting, there's a tree stand there, there's a blind there. It's like it's littered everywhere.
It's everywhere.
There's just so many people hunting per square mile, like you said, and it diminishes the quality. I'm not saying that's this is bad. It just changes the complete quality of the deer herd, especially when the state doesn't favor the deer.
Right.
Especially when the state's like, kill deer, kill them all. Then it's really, really challenging. And a place like Kansas is, they have, I think I don't even know. This is our first time hunting Kansas. So, but it seems like the state does an incredible job with the deer herd.
Well, because not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come waltzing into Kansas and start shooting shit.
Yeah, it's a draw system. It's $1.
$1, yep.
There's a lot of different things that
I mean, shorter rifle, shorter rifle
rifles.
season.
Yeah.
And just less, like you said, there's far less people. Like the easiest way to compare Kansas to anywhere else that we've hunted, I guess North Dakota would be an
Yeah.
exception to the rule, that it would be more on the Kansas side, is there in Kansas, in North Dakota, you are like you are going to hunt slash live with the deer. In Ohio, New York, even down here in Tennessee, the deer are living and surviving with you
Yeah.
because there's nowhere. I don't know a place in Ohio. I don't know. I mean, maybe in upstate New York, it gets a little bit more vast up there in the Allegheny Mountains and stuff like that. But certainly down here in Tennessee, there's not many places where you're going to go sit and not hear a road and not hear a truck and not hear a neighbor, and not hear people commotion, stuff going by. There's obviously bigger tracts of land and you can get out and breathe some fresh air for sure in all of these places. But it's different. It's different when you go out to a place like Kansas where literally we're sitting in a stand and I know for a fact there's not another person hunting within a mile radius at least of us.
Yeah,
At
there's really not
least.
another person li not even not hunting.
Yeah,
There's just
just
not another person within a mile of you.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
And
it's a
all the
different
while
feeling.
we went there in the last 2 days of rifle season
Yeah,
and it was still like that. So it's you get to witness the deer
being deer.
being deer, doing exactly what they want to do in that specific time.
Without feeling like they gotta look every direction and, like, I can't move because I feel pressured. They're just moving naturally. Like,
Yeah. There
they're
was
just
so much daylight activity. There was in the middle of December, there was so much daylight activity, but it's because they can.
yeah, I mean,
They feel comfortable.
at this time of year and any other state that we hunt, the mornings are not good. Like, you're not gonna see deer,
No.
and you're not gonna see a mature buck too. I mean,
Well, and
like
you
I
don't
said,
even want
you might, I'm not saying you won't, but they're
it's tough.
generally not good
Yeah,
because these bigger
and
deer are laying down before it gets light out. Most of the deer are.
well, and most of the time, anywhere you want to get into to be effective in that morning hunt, you're gonna you're gonna spook deer going into it.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're not going to see a ton of deer in daylight hours once the sun rises is obviously a factor, but a lot of it is too trying to get into the places that you would want to be so that you could have that opportunity is tough because you're going to alert deer, you're going to spook them, and then you're going to essentially ruin your your
Yeah.
afternoon hunt.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's if you see deer in the morning, you feel like it's gonna be within the first half hour of it
Right.
getting light, and then it's done, and in Kansas, it was like it seemed like
We
every hour it was getting better, and
you,
it's not even rut, it was mid-December, and it was the morning was obviously the coldest part of the day, but it
right.
wasn't cold out there. Like, it wasn't like
Not like it should be
no,
that time of year.
you talk to people that hunt Kansas, even even Parker told us, the wind is gonna kill you. It may be 30 degrees, but 15-20 mile an hour wind. It feels like it's teens, and it wears on you.
Yeah.
And it was in the 40s, 50s, up to 60 degrees the last couple days, and we didn't even have the cold snaps, and the deer were still
Still moving.
being deer.
I mean,
Um,
the middle day of our trip, it was December 12th, and we watched 6 bucks locked on one doe for over an hour in the middle of a winter wheat field, and there was little blotches of cover on the outside of it. The one big buck was literally keeping the doe in the cover and fending the other bucks off that were in the middle of the field. This is in the middle of a wide open field on December 12th at like 9 in the morning.
yeah.
And we felt like it was November 12th
That's what it felt like, yeah. I didn't even experience that in November here or in Ohio, or
this year. No,
I didn't experience that.
no. And I mean, it was so that day was actually so cool because We watched all that go down. All of the bucks moved the doe off into the cover to where we could not see any of them. And then when we were getting out around 11 o'clock, she and the Big Ten ran back across this winter wheat field to another bigger chunk of cover of cedars and stuff. And then 3 of the 5 bucks that were not the big one ran with them. There was 2 other shooters that did not come out of the thicket that they originally went into that morning. So we knew that they lost interest or whatever. They were holed up. So we watched all that go down. We gave it a little bit of time just to make sure, they weren't going to come back out, run across the field back to us, whatever. We got out for lunch, and when we got back in, we went back to the same stand that afternoon. We watched her come out of that thicket. You could tell she was acting weird, tail tucked, all
Yeah.
jittery, came out by herself, just like acting like, acting like she had just
Just
got
got
it.
ready. Yeah.
Yeah. And within 10 minutes after she did that, the 10 point poked his head out of the cedars. He kind of like looked both ways. He saw her, whatever, 100 yards out into this winter wheat field. He could have gone straight to her, but it was over at that point.
Yeah, he was done.
He took a left, took the cover line, and kind of fed out of sight the other way. And it was like, holy shit, we just witnessed that whole thing go down in a day.
Yep.
And it was pretty cool. But that's like this, that's the deer circle of life that you don't get to see a lot. At least we have not gotten to experience to that degree a lot. And we experienced it on December 12th, literally more or less from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's again like a lot of that's probably too their buck to doe ratio is at least somewhat close. You go
Well, it's
to
balanced.
yeah, it's somewhat balanced for sure. I mean, you even in Ohio, and it's probably better in Ohio, but in New York, I'm like it's literally probably 8 to 10 to 1.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would
I would
I
I
would
would
agree.
I mean, and I'm not including like button bucks in that
Right, right.
category of bucks, but like at this time of year in New York, you could sit on a cut cornfield, whatever. If you see 20 deer, 2 might
We'll
be
be
like scrub bucks.
right.
That's a normal night, and that's just outrageous. Like that's crazy. Um, but yeah, it was just again, it's cool when you get into places, and again, you could go down to there's places in Southern Ohio that are very remote and like you can get off the beaten path, but you just don't experience. I don't know, you just don't. There's still a lot of hunters around. Like
Yeah.
there's still, it's just still, if there's not a lot of hunters actually around, there's evidence that there was.
Right, right.
So it's just like it's a totally different feeling. And you get a very similar feeling in North Dakota. Is that there's just the deer numbers are not anywhere near what they are in Kansas. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but
Exactly.
it feels the same, but there's literally, I don't even know. It feels like there's a tenth of the amount of deer in North
Yeah.
Dakota than there is out in Kansas.
Well, even when you're monitoring, we got to monitor our trail cameras out there for whatever 5 or 6 days. Even monitoring that, like, I mean, you could tell we're seeing we're seeing 20 to 30 deer a sit out in Kansas,
Yeah,
morning and evening. And
yeah,
obviously, if we're going to the same spot, a lot of those are the same deer, but still, you're seeing 20 to 30 deer on a on a hunt that the weather conditions are not ideal, especially for or mid December. And it was almost like you shouldn't be seeing deer, but you just are because you're with them. You're
yeah,
with them where they live and where they're comfortable.
yeah,
And I mean, how many different shooters did we see in 5 days? 8 to 10
yeah, yeah.
different ones. Um, I mean,
That's
more
insane for December.
twice the amount that I've seen in New York, Ohio, and Tennessee combined.
Yeah. And
That's
the
crazy.
funny thing is, virtually all the bucks, basically all the deer that we were seeing on trail camera out there, we
We saw.
saw.
We
You
saw.
know, like that's the difference. Like in Ohio and stuff, that doesn't happen. Like
Well,
there'll be deer, there'll be bucks in Ohio, even in New York, that you don't get a you don't get a daylight photo of all year.
no, right. And but it didn't matter if the photos were at night or during daylight hours in Kansas. If you were getting pictures,
They're
like
around.
I don't know other than a couple pieces of property that we didn't hunt. I'm trying to think of what deer were on camera that we didn't see.
Yeah, we didn't see. That's what's crazy.
Well, I mean, and I guess that that could go to show you or go to speak to the fact that how effective trail cameras can be, this time of year or early season when the deer are predictable. The
Yeah.
deer that you're seeing are likely the deer that are there. And just because like in Kansas, the difference is like, okay, if you don't see a deer in daylight, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go into that area and try and hunt because on camera, I mean. So we were hunting areas where we didn't have pictures of a shooter in daylight per se, but we would go in there and see them on the hoof,
Yeah.
a couple hundred yards from the camera or over, whatever on a different side of the farm than the camera, but you would see him on the camera at night, and then you would go in there and you would see him during the hunt.
Yep.
He may not be right where that camera was or is, but he was in there. And like different than like you said in Ohio and New York where you have these deer on camera, you're seeing these deer on camera doesn't mean that you're going to see them on
Even
the hook.
Tennessee, yeah, even Tennessee, it's
Yeah,
kind of the same all
it
over
is.
here in the
It
Northeast.
right. It really is. And that was the cool, that was the cool part. And it for me it's like you got to hunt the deer that are there. And
Yep.
the trail cameras, Moultrie Mobile for us specifically, like are so valuable because they allow you to see that. They allow you to see that, or at least get a pretty good idea of your what you're going to have an opportunity at.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's just fun. We said it like almost every time we were in the stand. We were just like, this is just fun hunting.
right.
Like,
It didn't
yeah,
matter. Slinging an arrow was nice, and you wanted to do it every time to put that icing on the cake, but it was an enjoyable hunt
and
every
some
single time.
and some deer you see like it's really cool terrain out there because there's plenty of cover for the deer. There's plenty of cover, but it's a lot of it's open and flat. So you could be in a stand with great view, like great viewage, and there might not be a deer 30 yards from you, but you're like, oh man, 8 deer just came out in that cut cornfield that's a half mile that way. Oh man,
Right.
6 deer just came out in that winter wheat field over there. Like there's just stuff happening all around you. Even if they're not right on top of you, you're just learning and
Yeah,
seeing what deer are naturally doing out there. And you can make moves based off of that, like what you're seeing while you're hunting. And even Parker said this is what is a lot of the information you need to use while you're there hunting. You can't
right,
only rely on your trail cameras, whereas like a lot of times based off the terrain, like in Ohio and even in New York, like you don't have the opportunity to see that.
right,
And the deer are too they're a lot of times are too pressured to even show you that. Like they're not going to come out like that. But
right.
you can't see a half mile, there, and especially down in southern Ohio and hill country, like you don't have the
Yeah,
opportunity. Like there's not even ag down there to be able to see that happening.
you're seeing the next ridge, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just, which is awesome hunting too. It's just different. It's a different feel out there, and it's cool. It's just fun. It's fun hunting.
Well, I think for us, like we watched, Waddell and the Bone Collector crew, and we watched the Real Tree crew, and I guess the Drury's not so much, but we watched, some of our favorite hunters go to these different states, And growing up, when you're watching it, especially for us growing up in New York and hunting, a racked buck, a 2.5-year-old 8-point racked buck was a big deer. Like if we saw a racked buck, that was huge. That was
Yeah.
huge for us. And you watch these hunts in Kansas and it didn't seem real. Like we always thought like that's not real. There's no way. It's not real. That's not whatever we've experienced hunting. That can't be real life. But then you go there and you get to experience it and it is. It is. It's real.
Yep.
Like the deer are that plentiful. The quality of deer are there. And there's other, Kansas isn't the only place. I mean, you got Missouri right there, you got Iowa right there. You know, even Nebraska is probably a sleeper state given that it borders Kansas and everything. I mean, Colorado's right there, and we've seen,
Oklahoma. Yeah. There's just,
yeah, Oklahoma's right below it. So it's not just right there, but it's just a vast, less pressured area of the country, and the deer, they are just deer in their element. I mean, go to our YouTube channel and watch it. Like all 6 of the vlogs that we've posted are up on our YouTube channel. You could literally watch every one of them and you just watch how many deer we saw. And I think probably what we showed on our vlogs is probably like 60% of the deer that we actually saw.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
there was plenty of time.
the
It was hard being a cameraman because you're literally not, you can't film all the deer. You're just not. There's
you can.
number
Yeah.
one, you'll like obviously we have extra batteries and this and that, but
You burn it up.
you'll fill up card space, you'll blow through batteries, but you just can't, like there will be, like I said, there'll be 6 deer out over here, 5 deer out over here. Like you can't film them all.
Right,
So
right.
we literally can't even show it all.
I mean, yeah, it was crazy when those bucks were all locked on that doe. Dean's watching them and filming them. I'm literally scanning the other 270 degrees around our tree, and I'm like, Dean, there's 3 doe over here. Oh, there's 3 doe sneaking up to us. From the back side. We just got to watch our movement. Oh, there's an 8-point over there. Like all while the madness is going on in the middle of this open winter wheat field. Like it was like the Jurassic Park of whitetail hunting. I mean, it was insane.
You had to do that though because you sit focused on one deer for too long and there'll be a deer
You're missing
behind you.
something.
You're missing something.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
yeah. One of the last mornings, it was just getting light and we had spotted that 10 just coming out of the cover. I mean, I don't know what he was, a couple hundred yards away, but David decided to crack the horns together. He brought horns in that. Parker gave us a sweet set of big 8-point rattling horns that he made, which was awesome. So Dave's like, I'm bringing these in. We cracked the horns together, and the buck seemed interested. We kept losing him. He was going through this cover, but we were glassing this cover to try to figure out where this 10, like, is he coming? Is he going to show up? And we were so focused for like 2 minutes. And I just happened to put my binoculars down and I looked down and like 40 yards, 45 yards is another 8-point shooter
yeah.
that was just right there. Like he was
Like coming,
coming. Yeah, he was.
looking for the fight.
Yeah, but because it's so hard to, it was so hard to focus on everything. Like I wasn't thinking, oh, there might be another deer
Right.
right here. We were just focused on that other shooter.
Well, normally we don't have to worry about that.
No,
It's
you're,
like you see one of the shooters that you're after, and
and
it's like,
that's
all right,
it.
well, that's it. That's all you need to worry about.
The
There's
only
not.
shooter in the area.
You start making noise and acting like other deer, all of a sudden more deer just start coming from directions that you don't even expect.
Yeah,
It was, I mean, yeah, it was, and all the while, like we said, this is the middle of December.
yeah,
Like this activity, should it have been going on? I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty incredible. Amazing experience, extremely grateful for it. You guys will have to watch the whole thing go down on our YouTube channel. I don't want to give it away. There was an arrow flung, but you guys can check it out and see how that worked out. But yeah, it was amazing experience. Like I said, super grateful for Parker inviting us out, for the opportunity, and to finally be able check it something off our bucket list and hunt Kansas, and I can guarantee you we'll be back.
Hell yeah, we will.
Well,
For sure.
Dino, we went for a long one this time,
We did.
but there was a lot to talk about. There's still a lot to talk about, so we'll have to table it for another time. And yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. Hopefully, you guys have some new goals and stuff to seek for 2024. And we'll be drawing a bow, well, 3 bow winners here in the very near future, but we got some work to do on that.
Yeah, so if you want to nominate someone last minute, get them in.
Go to our YouTube, go to our
Now.
Facebook, go to our Instagram page. You will see the post, find the post, and comment on that. Get your names in now because we got a list. We got a long list of ones that we already picked out, and we're gonna let it go the next day or so, and hopefully pick a winner by the end of couple winners by the end of the week. But super excited. Appreciate everybody who has given back and nominated somebody in that. That's pretty special, and y'all should feel proud of that as well. And yeah, see you next Wednesday.
God bless. Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
Happy New Year, people.